TF2 has a lot of good maps. Your Sawmills, your Swegens, your Embargoes and Upwards, your Steels and Sunshines and Selbians and the like. But while TF2 has its banger maps, there are quite a few that can suck to play on. So let's go over them. Though I won't be covering holiday maps because Whatville would be on the list and that's kind of a boring pick that everybody's already done to death, so let's stick to the base game maps. Welcome to TF2's worst maps. Let us begin. Ever wanted to play on a cardboard box? If you thought 2 Fort was a boring slog, get ready for a version of that doesn't even have any unique visuals. It's a box. A gray, drab box with some red and blue tacked on. Who approved this map? Why did I give it money? Turbine is a capture the flag map. It's a big box with some smaller boxes tacked on, and playing it is a test of both your patience and your sanity. You have a big middle area with a big hallway, some stairs up to spawn, and some shitty vents you can use to sneak around. It's overall just kind of small and not fun to play on. It's a simple map with a small size, but actually trying to play on it seriously and not just using it as a place to screw around is awful. Engineers can lock down the intel room with little resistance, pyros thrive in the bland corridors and vents, and for some reason the sightlines are so long that snipers are still annoyingly effective. Oh yeah, and if that wasn't bad enough, this map's on the competitive list of maps to play on. Turbine. Competitive. 6v6 capture the flag. On Turbine. Awful. Gold Rush is old, mediocre, and a great showcase of TF2's poor early map design philosophy. This is Gold Rush, a small, choky, drab payload map that can be a pretty big pain in the ass to play on. Not unlike Turbine, but instead of gray, it's brown. It's separated into 3 different stages, and each stage is more linear and annoying than the last. There's vague efforts to make everything a little more open, but ultimately every choke is still designed like a funnel. Gold Rush isn't a god-awful pain to play on, but it's a great example of TF2's weird old design philosophy of tight chokes and bland visuals. Maps like Gold Rush, Dust Bowl, Hoodoo, and the like are infamous for being brown push simulators that engineers thrive on, and it makes playing these maps on anything that isn't pure bullshit casual just not that fun. I don't really mind Gold Rush and Hoodoo all that much, and I do enjoy a little trench warfare on Dust Bowl from time to time, but I can't in good faith call these maps good. They aren't well designed, and they sure as hell don't fit TF2's modern balance and gameplay flow. Gold Rush is bland, not fun to play on, and overall just not very good. There's no other reality to it. Junction is horrid. It's a confusing, claustrophobic mess of a map that I genuinely believe is a contender for the worst map in TF2. It's tiny, it's choky, it's a pain in the ass to capture or defend points. Its hallways give you no room to move, and the layout of the map makes getting lost shockingly easy. Everything looks the exact same, so your only way to know where you're actually going is to just follow the signs and hope you don't run into a pyro. That's a really odd design decision with a lot of these maps. All of these older maps have like 0 flow, so they just put signs and arrows everywhere to tell you where the hell to go. There's no natural visual direction or just general guidance. It's just, hey, go here. This is where you need to be. Pyro is an absolute powerhouse on this map because of how tiny everything is. Uber medics are mandatory for pushing the last point. And the fact this map got added in the Scout update is rage-inducing. I will give it credit for at least being well designed. Visually, it's definitely samey, but at least it's dense with props and litterings and whatnot. It at least has the gall to look good, even for the old design. Junction's not fun. Harvest is a bigger, more enriching map in comparison, and playing this godforsaken map might as well be equivalent to shoving your head in a box full of pissed off fire ants and scream-singing JT Music autism slop. It stinks. It reeks. It's cringe. You're cringe, Dutch. Don't make me talk about this junk. Hydro is a mess, dude. I don't even know where to begin with it. Well, I do, but it's a list of problems. We'll have to go through it. Don't mind me. First major problem is the game mode. Have Havoc, that's the engine. Hydro is built around rotating chunks of the map being used in play during rounds, with point captures advancing the map in either the red or the blue side. Think Conquest from Battlefield if it was AIDS. This mode is called Territory Control, and Hydro is the only official TF2 map to actually use it. The game mode suffers in 2 aspects, being the randomization and the game mode design. Its starting areas are random, random, so you have no idea where to set up or how to roll out initially without having to take a few minutes to discern where the fuck you are, where the enemies are coming from. But it also demands that you be defending and pushing at the same time, and if you aren't doing both perfectly, you're going to get fucked over. It requires a lot of coordination, and ultimately it's just stressful. Attacking teams will have their point open for capture, and defending teams will have to end up stalling the round for no real reason at all. Uncaptured points get captured really damn fast, so if you leave one open, you're gonna get backcapped really easily. 2 scouts can demolish the entire game. The second major problem is the map itself. Hydro is really big and really complicated. It's windy, it's massive, it's all over the place, visually indistinct, and overall does not flow very well from regular gameplay. It looks good, but nothing about it stands out minus the water. Just getting to the enemy point can take literal trial and error due to the size of the map, and the repetitive visuals makes deciphering where you have to go difficult. Things will just take random corners and weird windy shortcuts, and nothing really flows. And the third problem would be the inconsistency. Just listen to this devlog a little bit.
Multiplayer communities tend to focus on a small group of maps, playing them over again and again. Instead of producing a large number of maps, most of which would go unplayed, we decided to try and build a single map with more innate replayability than any we'd built before. With most multiplayer maps, you know what you'll be doing before the map is even finished loading. In our case, we wanted a map where you couldn't even predict something as basic as your starting point, let alone what you'd be doing when you got there. This map, Hydro, therefore begins with a randomized starting state. The emphasis on control of constantly shifting territories means the map rarely feels repetitive. Meanwhile, the explicit round structure keeps teams focused and provides regular highs and lows as the teams gain and lose territory.
Valve fundamentally misunderstands why people pick maps and stick to those maps. People stick to the maps that they like because they like the map, they know the map, and they usually have a consistent experience due to their knowledge of the map and how it plays. For example, I really like Harvest and Sweden. They're simple, they're understandable, they're king of the hill, and I understand the cool little things I can do on them. I play on those maps because I have experience with those maps, and thus I can be good on them. Why would anybody want to play on a map that's literally meant to just be random bullshit? That's not fun. Hydro's randomization makes playing the map itself a gamble, letting you never really get a lay of the land and resulting in an inconsistent experience when playing. Hydro is not fun. It could be fun if the map was simpler and the caps took longer to cap, but it's not. It's no coincidence that territory control plays out more or less like control points with extra steps, because control points is just the better mode. TF2's got good maps, but it's also got some big ol' stinkers. You got any maps that you hate? Leave them in the comments. I'll be making a sequel video with your picks, so go ahead and leave them. But in the end, I think we can all agree on one thing, one minuscule individual thing that we can all come together on, despite our enjoyment of it. 2 Fort is the worst TF2 map. Okay, bye.